This is the little corner of the layout I'm going to take to bits. I'm going to come back and film this in a moment after I have shown you why. The whole story is that I was positioning my camera here to take a picture of my new changeover, that's the position of it, gantry signals, which I've done, and I was then going to move some trains around so that I could then take a picture of my yard entry gantry. That's just the name I give it, yard entry gantry, to show those signals. And then moving the trains about, or rather in trying to move the trains about, I had a catastrophic failure of my points. All of a sudden it didn't work, and I discovered in the end, which is this one. I thought to myself, that's the one I changed to move my trains around, get them off the up line, through the down line, through the changeover, round the reversible line to the other end of the layout, which is accessible from one of the other. Either way, this point motor here is the one that operates this crossover in the cutting. It crosses from the up line, which is on the outside, across to the down line, which is the middle one. The third one, which is the reversible line, the changeover to that line is accessible all the way down there, past the lift out, at the end of the Northampton North Yard. Either way, to get at the point motor that operates that, which is, now let's see if I can see it because I know where it is. Oops! It's over there somewhere. There it is. To get at that, I need to take a whole lot of things out. So that's what I'm going to go back and video now. Bear with me. It's been a while since I've taken any of this to bits, so I've got to try and remember the sequence. First of all, I've got to take off this bridge, which you now can't see, which is in front of my station entry. We'll put that up on top of Victon Station. The question is, does this one come off first or does this one come off second? I think it comes off second, which is this one. See, now I've got the handles all fitted here, ready for this to, there it is, bingo, to lift out and put away somewhere safely. The next thing to come out is my tunnel entrance, and then we can lift out this, which could have come out first, but now you can see it, to access my point motor. And see if I can reposition the camera for you just a moment. Now then, how much can we actually see? I was hoping it was going to be a dead mouse or a big spider or something like that that was obviously giving me a short circuit. Haven't got that far yet. Well, I think I've discovered what's wrong. You can just see there, that's the little motor that happens to be 4.5 volts. I've had these for about, goodness knows, 20-25 years. I bought about 20 of them for £4.50 post-free from China, something like that. Either way, they're what I've used generally for all of my point motors. I give them a burst of 12 volts or stick a resistor in circuit to reduce it, and bingo, they give me very little trouble. Occasionally the smoke gets out and I have to replace them, This crossover gets used relatively infrequently, so I think it might be appropriate for me to replace the motor. Right, the screwdriver is going to work. I'll pop it off the hot glue in 1 second. He says hopefully it will come. I know it will. Some of the others have come the same. There we go. Very rough and ready, but it's all, and you see the join between the motor shaft and the threaded rod, simply a bit of heat shrink. Heat shrink. Pull it off. I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to turn that motor by hand and get it disconnected from the nut that I've got soldered to the PCB there. Then I can just swivel the motor out of the way without damaging anything. Come back in a moment. Next instalment, the turning this threaded rod by hand is becoming very difficult because the motor is refusing to go backwards and the point linkages is refusing to come forwards. So I'm going to need to disconnect the point linkage so that the PCB piece, there it goes, can now slide forwards out of the way. There it is. And a bit of brute force. And ignorance. And off it comes. There we go. Ready for the bin. Now the question is, can I remove the heat shrink coupling and the threaded rod from the motor shaft, ready to go straight on another motor shaft? Brute force and ignorance is definitely called for. Whether or not I'll be able to reuse this threaded rod, there he goes. Certainly lots of lovely glue over the edge of the motor shaft, and there's the flat. Now the question is, will this be able to be used at all on the new motor? I do not know. Right, let's see how we go on. I've got 3 layers of heat shrink, 2 on the motor shaft and 1 over the end of the what was left of the coupling, and an extra section of heat shrink over the top of everything. So we'll just have to see if that is in fact going to do what it's supposed to. Certainly it's turning fairly concentrically, so there shouldn't be a problem with alignment. I discovered a wee gap in my sequence of videoing. Unfortunately, when I put this motor back in, and it worked for a short time, but then the threaded rod pulled off the end. I unfortunately forgot to use glue there and was relying on the heat shrink component to hold the heat shrink over the little flat that I've cut in the side of the motor, but it wasn't enough. The servo needed to throw almost a complete 180 degrees so that in its final position it would stay there without exerting a rotary force on the servo to move it back again. So that's what fixed the radius of operation there. I tried an ordinary paper clip there, but it wasn't strong enough. So I had to drill out the hole to 2 millimeters and use a bit of threaded, use a bit of brass rod to make the linkage. The point motor is at least working now. You can see how the complete throw of the servo changes both points at once. Finally, I've got it working. This is a subterranean view of the same linkage, so that you can see how the single operation moves 2 points at once. And this gives you a better view of what the other one looks like underneath also. Now that my point motor is working again, I'm going to see if I can put all this scenery back and show you how it goes. The road and the shop front. The road and the shop front back in over the top of the point motor. The tunnel entrance goes back in somewhere around here. There it is, there it goes. The raised car park and the cutting wall goes in next. This is always the most difficult part to locate. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Now we've got the bridge to put back in and the station front, or the station entrance, which really doesn't look like too much unless and if I move the camera down, tunnel entrance, cutting wall, bridge and station entrance. There we are, all done and plug.